Hi and welcome to Entrepreneur Masterclass. I'm your host, Lea Woodford, and I have a special guest today, Biba Pédron, and she is French. She is amazing, but she is also an international business and mindset coach. Welcome to the show, Biba.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, I'm so excited about this because you are an expert on something that has baffled me forever. Now, you work with a lot of entrepreneurs, but you focus on women. Why are women entrepreneurs? Why are they so different from male entrepreneurs?
Because they're less secure, they don't have the same confidence. Because when we were raised, everything is about men or boys when you're at school and something like that.
That's so true.
Yeah, and it's still true today.
It is.
So we have to either have enough confidence or grow in a way that show that we are independent. Because that's what I do in everything that I do. And because that's what I was thinking when I was a little girl. I always said my motto was, I do what I want, when I want, where I want, with who I want. And even I say that when I was a little girl, because I already knew what I wanted in the future. And I knew that I wanted a special lifestyle. But not that many women, because they don't have the right family, they don't have the right entourage, that kind of thing, they can say it.
So who was your role model that inspired you to be so independent at such a young age? Because I certainly didn't have that.
Yeah. That's a question that I get very often. And everybody said, where do you get all of your positivity? And I don't have the answer. And I don't know, so I only say that I was probably born with it. Because even at a young age, for example, each time somebody say you can't do something, I was like, watch me. And like, even if I was 3 or 4, 5 years old, I said, watch me. You don't think that I can do it? I'm going to do it. And as far as I can remember, I had this dream of, in the future, I want to become an American. I have this American dream. So everybody say, oh, she's cute, she wants to become an American, but nobody believed it. So I grew up in a way to everything that I do, I'm going to show you that I can do it. And I don't know where it's come from, but it's something that I continue to do over and over and over. And I did my American dream, so I did even do better than that. And but I said to people, I can't teach you how to have that in you, but I can teach you how to change. And this will change with your mindset. And we have to work on your mindset. As long as we work on the mindset, and it's a shift in people's head and in women's head, then they understand that, oh yeah, I can do that. I can be an entrepreneur. I can be successful. I can be an independent woman. And then everything works much better.
So let's unpack mindset for our viewing audience real quick. What do you mean by mindset? Can we dive into that a little bit?
Mindset for me, especially coming from France, because I moved in the US 20 years ago. So I definitely I was already positive, but I didn't have the mindset that I have today. And it's interesting because the same people ask me why the United States. And I said, I can't explain that either. But then when I moved here, I said, okay, now I understand. Because I said the people here, they have the mentality that I always had. They're more positive. They're more thinking, okay, I can fail. It's okay. I learn a lesson and I will do it again and I will do something else. In France, it's completely different. So I feel like I came at home. And it's interesting because the very first time in 1992, when I came to the US, to New York for the first time, I had a chill when we landed. And I had like a message in my head, you're home now. So the mindset is really, do you see the positivity in what you do? Do you think that even if you fail, whatever, even I don't like the word failure, but if you fail, it's okay. You're going to do something different. You're going to do it again. And I always said everything depends on what you want compared to what you really want. If you want something, you say, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. I want to have a business. I want to go around the world. But if you don't have that here, if it's not strong enough, you will have obstacles that will stop you. But when you really want something, like my American dream, I say, it doesn't matter what people say. I know what I want. It will take me years possibly, but when you really want something, you don't let anything or anybody tell you that you can't do it. And then it's happening.
So, Biba, how can our viewing audience tap into that real gut level, I want this, I'm going to do it? How do they do that?
They have to have the goal. They have to know what they want to do, because a lot of people, they don't even know that they kind of leave and what's happened is what happened. But when you have the motivation and the determination of what you really want, if it's strong enough, then you will realize that you can do whatever you want and nothing is impossible. But a lot of people say that, oh no, you can't because my family didn't do it. Or like my family, when I came to the US, they say, well, nobody in the family travel abroad. When I started my business, I actually quit my job a Friday evening in 1998 in Paris to start a business on a Monday morning. And everybody say, you're crazy because nobody did it in the family. I said, is it because nobody did it that I can't do it? I'm going to try. I will give me 9 months to try to see if it's working. If it's not working, then I go back to find a job. So it's really, I think it's inside of you. But then when you have the right people around you, the right environment, the right positive people, which is more true in the US than in France, then you around people who say, yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. Like, for example, when I quit the job in 1998 in Paris, everybody say I was crazy because I knew that 30 days later I won't have any salary. When I arrived in the United States, I started my first business here in 2003, organizing networking events for entrepreneurs, which I didn't even know what was networking when, like, few months or a year before I arrived, because we didn't have that. I never had any of my clients coming to the events, American clients, tell me, you can't succeed. They say, okay, you want to try this, just try. If it's not working, you will do something else. So it's really how it is, and it's the way you were raised also. The way you were raised, but then at some point when you become an adult, you can't say it's because of my family. As an adult, you have to change. Do you really want what you know? And then you change, and then you make sure that you surround yourself with the right people.
So but Biba, and this might be you guys too, my viewing audience, I know I didn't have a supportive family, and some of them were gunning for me. So what if you have a family that's not so supportive, and you can't really divorce your family, but how can you protect yourself from the naysayers, in your own backyard?
It's very, again, it's come back to what you really want. Because if you hear people around you negative all the time, I say it's like a raincoat. You listen to them, but the rain goes to the raincoat. You don't let the rain go inside the coat or go inside of your head. So you can say, okay, I understand what you said and what you're telling me, but this is not what I want. And I remember when I said to clients that they have to change and they have to have the right entourage, and of course you can divorce your family, as you said. And one of my clients said, yeah, but my husband always say no to everything. Should I divorce my husband? I said, well, I can't tell you that you do whatever you want. But then maybe you have a way to explain to your husband how to do it. And I have other clients who don't want to tell anything to their husband until the business is successful enough. And then they say, see what I did. And then usually most of the time, the men said, oh, okay, so I was wrong, you did it. And some others, they don't accept the fact that the woman is successful. Then they have to make the decision.
Wow. It feels like it's so much more complicated with women than it is with men. I know with my own experiences with men, if they're frustrated and they've got a problem in business, here's my credit card, just fix it. Yeah. With women, it doesn't happen that way. Why is that?
Because also the women most of the time depend on their husband or the family with the money. So they can't say, here's my credit card, or they have to manage things differently, and which means that they have the feeling that they have to ask their husband. And we can hear it in coaching all the time. They say, oh, I really would like to take your coaching, but I have to ask my husband. And sometimes I say, is it your business or is it your business husband? I say, no, that's my business. So you're the one who's supposed to make the decision, even if you contribute with the couple and the family, but you have to understand that you have to make it. But I think it's cultural, and it's just that the way we're raised, and it's so strong that for some women it's complicated to make the decision to say, okay, now I know what I want, and I'm just doing it, and I will prove that I can succeed.
Do you think the younger women being born with tech and let's face it, they were born with phones in their hands and they're brilliant. Do you think it's a little easier for them to have the entrepreneurial mindset because things were more accessible to them. I mean, when we wanted to learn something, Biba, we had to commit. We had to go to the library.
When I started the business in 98, I didn't have any books to tell me how to start a business. So we had to do it everything on our own. I think for now it's a little easier for young because they go to internet and they have so many examples of people and even young people who became very famous or successful. So, but it doesn't mean that they think it's okay for them. Right. But how do I do that? Is it possible for me? So they still have to work on it, but there is so many information on the internet that they tell us, well, try. Look at this one, he did it or she did it and she was successful. So you can do it too. So it's a little easier, but it still go back to what do you really want?
Okay, so Biba, you have this amazing book. So it's called M.D.R, The Winning Formula for a Successful Life. Can we talk about that? That's that's an impactful title.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, actually, in French, M.D.R means the translation in English is laughing out loud. But even in French, because I have the French version, for me, it doesn't mean that. But it's like more like a marketing titles. People say, oh, I'm going to laugh. But then when they would take the book or they look on the back of the book, it's for me, M.D.R is your motivation plus your determination equal the realization of all of your dreams, even the widest one, just to show you that you can do whatever you want. And actually the subtitle is luck doesn't exist, you create it. So just to show people that whatever you want, you can do it. But now do you want it strong enough in order to make it a reality? Because most people, they will stop in the process. So for example, in this book, I have testimonials from clients who had very dramatic story, and to show people that whatever happened to them brought the mindset and do something positive with it. And even if it's strong, something strong. It's not just like, I am a little sick or something. It's very something strong. And show to people that even with that kind of line, you can turn it at something positive, and then you help other people to be positive. So part of the stories are people that I know, either clients or people that I know. Some of the others are people that everybody knows, but they're already dead, but they're like successful story. And then the second part of the book is like the 6 steps in order to have the right mindset and how to become positive. And it's really to wake up in the morning and say, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm gonna do. And it doesn't matter what people say.
So it's almost like living with intention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biba, in the book you mentioned the 3-step strategy. What is that?
Okay, this is actually a 3-step process that I created pretty much after I arrived in the United States, because I didn't have any marketing skills when I arrived, so I did start a business, but in French it was not the same. But when I arrived here, that's how I learned that we can have coach, and we should have coach. And we can start a business on our own, but we can't grow it on our own. We need other people's experience. So I learned from other people. And then at some point, I had people who were telling me, what do you do? How are you doing it? What's your secret? We can see you everywhere. And I didn't really pay attention to it at first. And then one of my coaches said, if everybody asks you, what's your secrets? Maybe you should look at what is your secret. So I put everything on the table and say, okay, what I'm doing in my marketing. And that realized that first I have the marketing strategy. Because if you don't have marketing strategy, and if you woke up in the morning wondering what I'm going to do, or maybe, oh, she's doing a podcast, or he's doing this, or he's on TikTok, then there's not a strategy. So if you don't have a very strong and effective marketing strategy, you just don't have a business. But sometimes you can have the marketing strategy, but if that's all you have, if you don't have any visibility, nobody knows who you are, well, it's not working either. So you need to have the visibility. So you need to communicate on a regular basis, whether it's on social media, doing events in person or something like that. So when you have the right strategy and the right visibility, now you can have an impact. Because most of the time when we start a business, we start it because we are passionate, because we want to help others. But again, if nobody knows who we are, if we don't have a marketing strategy, how can we help people? We can't impact people. And that's very important, that you have the 3 components, the strategy, visibility, and impact. And that's how, and actually I started the 3-step process for myself, but then little by little, when I became a coach, I realized it's working also for my clients. And most of the people who follow the strategy, actually, they double or triple their revenue in 90 days.
Wow. So you just said something, you said a mouthful, and I want to unpack that a little bit. Let's face it, though, the web is really saturated. Yeah. And we are all vying for that same attention currency. How do we cut through that to position ourselves as the expert and the go-to person?
That's where the personal brandings come. Because yes, there's gazillion of people who are doing the same thing, who have the same expertise. But nobody has the same story, the same experience, the same personalities, the same authenticity. We are the only one. Even if we learn the same thing than others and we teach the same thing than others, we will definitely do it different way. Our way, it's different. So the way that I teach coaching and I help women is different from other people. So personally, I don't see any competitors. And it's interesting because I work a lot with women doing events or something like that. And people always will ask me, why do you work with your competitors? I said, because I don't see them as competitors. We do a compliment and we help each other and we help our clients because we see things differently. So when you have a very strong personal branding, and it can come to your color. In myself, it's the black and red, and I'm often in black and red. So the personal branding is really the anchor that you put in people's mind. So if there's something that you have different from others that people will remember, even if you're not here, even if it has nothing to do with your business. Like, for example, a few years ago, I had a client who came in the coaching session and said, Biba, I have to tell you that. He said, last night, my wife sent me to buy the cheese in the supermarket. He said, I don't know anything about the brand. I know how to eat the cheese, but that's it. And he said, at some point, I saw a label of a cheese, black and red. I went directly to that one, and I thought about you. And I remember at the time, I said, oh, is it a good or bad thing? And then I said, no, yes, it's a good thing, because that's the anchor that you put in people's mind. What's different from you, from the other people, that even if you're not in a room, even if it has nothing to do with the business, they will remember you. That's the part that you have to be different from other people. And then the way you teach and the way you do your business and the way you do your services, that's different from other people too.
Now, Biba, I understand that you speak at conferences.
Yeah.
You're a motivational speaker and a business speaker. How can people book you for their events?
Well, they can contact me. I'm all over the internet, so they can find me either on Facebook or on LinkedIn also. And I have a website, so they can go to my website. And I do speaking in French, in English, and I travel a lot. And I work the same. When I do conferences, it's more toward women because they are the one, as you say, we need more help. And then usually when I do a conference, I had a woman who came to see me at the end and say, you turn my head. I say, you say something that you turn my head. I say, well, that's the purpose. So people can find me and contact me or on the phone, or whether social media is the best way to find me.
Yep, she's all over the place. She's definitely got the visibility. Biba, thank you so much for being on the show. Will you come back?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to come back whenever you want.
Thank you so much. This has been Lea Woodford with Entrepreneur Masterclass. Thanks for watching.